righty. What's up?
Good. Talking to Dak last week, he was just talking about how really throughout his time here, is when his footwork is not right, is when he tends to be a little inaccurate. Was he able to get back to this in the days leading up where the calf didn't allow him to do that going into that first game back?
I just thought this week he had a really good week in practice, and obviously it translates to the game. And he was really good fundamentally. He was on point, worked through progressions really well. I thought he just played a really decisive game.
With Connor McGovern, is it kind of just
you guys like Connor, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
I like Connor too. Yes, I do.
I mean, he's lined up all wide. He's in the eye, so is it one of those things where you tried something and then he was able to handle it, so you're like, maybe we'll try a little bit more? Like, how did that progress to where it is now?
I certainly think Connor's handled a little more volume each and every time. Obviously, we probably started with a little bit of a fullback thing against Philly just for a couple plays, and it's certainly expanded to a few more things. And I think that's credit to him that he can handle some of these versatile things, because he's getting ready to potentially play guard and center each and every week, and at the same time, he's got these other little roles and packages that he has that are available to us, and so he does an awesome job. He's a part of it as well, having conversations, talking about things. There's a few things. Okay, Connor, maybe let's hold on that a little bit, but he's got a lot of ideas.
When does he start working on the jugs machine?
Oh, he thinks he can do just about everything on the field right now, so we'll see.
When did you come up with the idea of thinking of putting him out wide in that bunch pattern out there?
Just brainstorming throughout the week. Early in the week, we were just looking for a screen opportunity. Felt like maybe putting him out there. Hadn't done that yet, and just get the ball to CD out in space. Usually good things happen for him.
Speaking of that position, how concerned are you about the number of penalties Connor Williams is picking up and his play overall?
I think just overall as an offense, penalties is kind of one of our things. We'd certainly like to play cleaner games. We've had a few games where penalties have just been creeping up higher and higher for whatever those circumstances are. There's obviously different circumstances in each game, but we just got to clean up those things, and then turnovers. If we can play a clean game, I feel like we got a great chance. Obviously, I think Connor's got some growth opportunities in the penalty world. Obviously, he's probably had a few too many, but hopefully those are things we can learn upon and get better.
Is that technique with him, or just he should be smarter than that with some others?
I think there's a combination. There's technique things you can always look at, and sometimes there's a time to know that maybe we've reached the point in the play where linemen want to always finish the block every single time, but sometimes there's a point where maybe there's a let-off opportunity there, and we'll still end with a good play.
When you hit late in the game, you're up big, and you bring Cedric out in the Wildcat and do some things. Was there ever a time we say, all right, I want to show a bunch of stuff to get everybody for our next opponents to think about the 58 things that we may never do again? Or how do you balance all that?
Yeah, I would say there's a time and place for everything. Felt comfortable with presenting that play that particular time, and we're close. End up getting kind of a goofy hold, and I feel good.
Mike was telling us a little while ago that he thinks the timing of knowing when to call those types of plays is just as, if not more important than the actual deception of it. Where do you get your sense of timing with that?
It's a great question. I think sometimes there are plays that you kind of got to let marinate for a few weeks, and you're kind of working on and trying to find the right time and place, and sometimes there's patience associated with that. And then I think usually, the entire team usually finds that right time. I think we usually have a pulse of each other that, okay, this is the time, anticipate this call if we get to this particular spot, and then let's go for it. And I think we're constantly talking through those things as a staff, with the players a part of it, and we like that aspect.
How deliberate are you when you're assembling a game plan to have unscouted looks, just plays, concepts that your opponent hasn't seen before?
I certainly think there's a huge value of that. Again, we've talked about there's only so much time in a week with practice and preparation aspects with regards to that, and so the more we can put on film, obviously, I think benefits us, because defense have to pick and choose what they're going to focus on, and each week, maybe we have a little flavor here and there, but I think the key is keeping it concise, keeping it tight, still keeping our identity of who we are. We're not going to turn into Gadget City, but you want to still be able to establish some run game when you want to, throw it when you want to, do what we do best, and I think they complement each other really well.
What are your emotions when you're watching Dak Prescott kind of truck a DB to score a touchdown on a run Are you excited because the way he's kind of, I guess, setting the tone in a way, or are you kind of nervous?
I would say that's the way Dak's wired, and we're going to trust him. Obviously, we thought Sprinkle was going to score a touchdown. Obviously, there was maybe a little something going on there on his jersey. I'm not sure what that's called, but we thought we were going to get a touchdown pass out of it, and we're going to trust Dak. We're going to trust Dak. He's going to handle those situations well, and we'll be just fine.
When you, with all the creativity and the plays that you've used, Kansas City is a team that has pulled its share of plays out of the way pass or the way back. How much have you looked at them and seen things that they've done and kind of incorporated some of that with Andy Reid and their PM?
I would say definitely when you watch them, they're a team that shows up a lot on film as far as a team doing creative things that over the course of the last few years. They're as good as anyone in the league, and they do a great job of it. They time it up well, call it at the right time, and they're definitely one you watch.
With these games coming up in a short time frame, and it's two unfamiliar opponents, could you talk about when the staff or quality control started work on these two upcoming opponents?
Chase, Kyle, Eric, Jeff, all the guys could kind of do some of the early scouting. Those guys started a week or two ago, just preparing for this, just so because these next coming 12 days they happen fast, and as much as we can, guys kind of behind the scenes are prepping as much as they can, and then hopefully we can streamline this thing and go. And fortunately for us, we've done this, I think, every year that I've been here since 2016, I think was our first year when we did it up in Minnesota on the second Thursday. And since then, we've done it every year. And so I feel comfortable with it. It's obviously a goofy aspect of our schedule, but we've done it each year, and I feel comfortable.
How do you balance when you're watching some of that stuff, you're going over some of that stuff, and maybe some of the earlier stuff Kansas City wasn't playing as well as they played last night, and then how much do you balance, like, well, maybe we need to focus more on just what they did most recently?
I think it's important to watch as much of the whole season as you can to see the flow that the defense has taken. Obviously, there's certain things that happened early in the year. It feels like for everyone a part of the NFL, early September feels like it was forever ago. And so you want to watch those things, see where they were, see maybe what adjustments they made a conscious decision to make, and we'll see how their season plays out. Obviously, we're still early in this process, but we'll watch these guys. They're playing some good football right now. They're playing good complementary football on offense, defense. Special teams is making plays. So they're doing a really good job.
Did you try to get a sneak peek of the game last night, or did you try to stay in your routine of when I see the Chiefs, I see the Chiefs?
No, you tend to, especially when you play the noon game, you get a chance to watch Sunday Night Football. It worked out perfect. It was the Chiefs, so you got a chance to watch a little bit of them. Didn't watch every second of it, but it was good to watch.
Your fourth down attempts, you had 2 go for over 20 yards, a third go for a touchdown. What do you like about your play calls on those plays, and how important was that after the fourth down attempt in the previous game?
Yeah, I just credit I think our guys handled those really, really well. It felt like, when we know, Mike does a great job when we know we have an opportunity to go for fourth down, we could play third down a little bit different and put ourselves in the most favorable fourth down situation we can. And our guys did a phenomenal job. Big plays on all 3.
How much does Gallup's return impact the coverage that CD gets, do you think?
Well, CD went inside. He played a little bit more slot this week, and so obviously Michael went back outside. We'll be able to play with those guys throughout the season, play them in a bunch of different positions. You guys know Michael. Michael's an awesome, awesome player. He's done some phenomenal things, and he hopped right in there and made plays. So not surprised.
5 trips to the red zone, 5 touchdowns. We were remiss not to ask you, but what do you think the difference was in terms of just the execution in that area?
Just I think our guys executed really, really well down there. We ran the ball, we threw the ball, kind of did both, and I think our guys just kind of kept chipping away as we got in that red zone, and we were able to score touchdowns at the end. Dak made a phenomenal throw against a cover 0 pressure. CD had 2 touchdowns in there. Zeke grinded out 2 runs. Thought our guys did a really, really good job.
The lofted throw to CD, clearly was beautiful, and he anticipated. How well is Dak throwing and playing right now?
He's throwing really, really well. I just think he's very decisive. He knows exactly what he wants, and he's playing very, very confident and in command.
You said you don't want to be Gadget City. Mike said something similar earlier. How do you balance that, and how often do you find yourself saying, no, Kellen, enough of that, get back over here to the nuts and bolts?
I think that's always the balancing act. You're trying to, there's a creative side that, you want to do new things, evolve, and all those sorts of things. At the same time, there's things that you've repped a lot of times, and can you throw a little flavor on it? There's only so much time on our our week standpoint as well. And so there's plenty of times we put plays on the call sheet, and by Tuesday night they get axe a few, take a few off, just because you're trying to find the spots that we can actually rep them in a practice or a walkthrough and feel comfortable with them for Sunday. So that's part of the week's process.
On your play sheet, do you keep them in a separate section, or are they part of your third and long and third and shorts and all that kind of stuff?
They're just part of our offense. Yep.
We know you're watching Kansas City's defense and not the offense, but when you get a chance to see Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football or whatever, as a fellow quarterback, what do you appreciate about it?
I think his confidence. Obviously, everyone knows his ability to throw the football, but I just think his confidence and command of the offense. The whole thing runs through him, and I think he's a very, very confident player out there, and you can definitely see it. I think he's a guy that guys love watching.
I talked Friday about the bingo that he did with the players, having some of the guys come up and share different things about the team. Is that something that all the coaches are in the room for as well? And if so, how does that change the tone of the room or the culture?
I would say it's in team meetings, so obviously everyone, a part of the team's in it, coaches included. I think it's just an opportunity for guys to continue to connect, get to know people off the field. We do different things throughout the year, whether it's in season, OTAs, training camp. I think you're always trying to find opportunities to connect as a team, and sometimes someone shares something that you didn't know about them, and it maybe sparks a conversation for someone.
I think only 3 teams in the league have attempted more fourth downs than you, and a couple of those haven't played in the game, or played more games. Beyond just the individual plays, what does that go to setting an aggressive mentality and attitude that carries beyond just what happens in that particular moment?
Definitely think it gives I think guys are prepared for it. It's not really a shock. It's not a surprise when we go for it on fourth down. It's not this big dramatic moment. It's part of our philosophy. Mike's done an awesome job all year giving us that opportunity to go for it on fourth down. We understand when we can play third down like second down, and so really you can play it out for four downs there. And I think our guys are able to play that way. Dak's able to play that way as a quarterback, knowing, hey, you don't need to get all of it right now. 3rd and 7, take whatever they give you. We'll play it out on fourth down if we need to, and I think they do a really good job of that.
Does it lead to better decision making?
Or is that what football is?
What's that?
Does that feel to be like a fad, or do you think that's what the NFL is now?
I'd like to think that's what the NFL is. I think you got as many opportunities to score. You got to take advantage of those. You got to score points in this league, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm an offensive guy, but this thing's about scoring points.
Do you think it leads to better decision making overall on third down when you know that, okay, well, I can take this because I just don't have to?
I definitely think it allows us to play third down differently, and from the play calling, but also from just the players playing that, and obviously Dak's kind of the primary aspect of that, just making great decisions with it. That 3rd and 8 is not. We need 8 plus yards, and we need the 9-yard completion. We can take the underneath. We can take the completion. If you get a run and catch and run, awesome. We get a first down. If not, it's 4th and 2. We're going for it. So.
Sean McHugh played a lot more this second game back from IR. How do you feel he's settling in and just projecting him moving forward?
Doing a great job, obviously working his way back into this thing. He got hurt, obviously, at Arizona in preseason, and he's kind of working his way back into this thing, more and more reps, and we felt really, really good about him coming out of training camp, and we're excited to have him now a part of this thing.
Thanks, Cole.
Awesome, thanks.